Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are joining us from. My name is Michael Oyagha and I'm so excited to have you join us today on my YouTube channel. It's been a wonderful time in all of our session and I can assure you that today's session will not be an exception. All right, so today I have something very interesting to discuss with you. Remember, it's a conversation we are having, so don't forget to leave your comments, your observations, your questions, your contributions in the comment section, and I'll look at it and then respond accordingly. Today we are looking at the 9 proven ways to safeguard your marriage. Nine proven ways. Nine proven ways to safeguard your marriage. If your marriage is shaking, if you are afraid of getting into marriage, if you are looking for the next thing to do to spice up your marriage, then you need to listen to me as I give you this talk and then we can have this conversation. Are you ready? All right, so let's go. Number 1, you need to learn to take time out. As a couple, you need to learn to take time out. If the wife does not initiate it, the husband can initiate it. And if the husband does not initiate it, the wife can as well initiate it. But the most important thing is that you take time out to enjoy yourself, to relax, and not to look at people and not to get carried away with a lot of activities around you. Take time out. Go away from the people, uncle. Go away from the people. You see, a lot of the times couples, usually forget themselves. They're living for their children, they're living for their family members, extended, and the rest of that. They're living for other people around them except themselves. They're not living for each other. And before you know what is happening, they have grown old and they'll be wondering, where did the time go? So you didn't know that time was passing all along, that you're living for others, living for your children, living for everybody. I'm not saying you should not live for your children, but I'm saying that in the midst of living for your children, in the midst of taking care of others, you need to take care of one another, because you have two of yourself. You have two. You have just yourself, one for the other. So it is important for you to take care of your wife, take care of your husband. Take time out. Just leave the house, go to somewhere that is nice, have some fun. It is not a sin. Have some fun. It's important. Life is too short, but it's too sweet for you not to have some time with your spouse, okay? If you don't have money, because some of you will start saying, hey boy, we don't have money. It's okay. If you don't have money to go to very nice and very touristy places, nobody says that you cannot stay in your own house. You can have a little sweet time in your own house, all right? Take the children to their grandparents' house or lock them up in the room. I didn't tell you that. Okay, so you can go to the movies, wherever you are. I think it's affordable. Buy a cup of popcorn, just have a little time, swell time, enjoy yourselves. Or you can have what we call movie time out in the house. Yeah, have movie time out in the house. I do that a lot. Just tune into one of these cable network channels, switch off the light, sit together in the comfort of your home with your snack and your parfait, or with your soft drink, or whatever it is that you have. Just spend some time together and enjoy the company of one another. Life is too short, but life is sweet. So why not spend time with your spouse? Okay, you can take a walk. Just walk around your streets, walk around your environment, hold your hands, talk together, gist as you're walking around, or you go out for visiting. You can visit friends, you can visit neighbors, or just take your wife or your husband to another room in the house and tell him or her stories. You see, it sounds very simple. It sounds very, really, so can we do that? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Sometimes I'll just stay with my wife, just lie down on the bed, just gisting, tell her stories, she tells you stories, or you get a book. Yes, we do that sometimes. Get a book, you read, while she listens, or she reads while you listen, or you share what you have read from the book. Anything whatsoever you can do just to be in the company of your spouse is very important. Don't tell me that you don't have money. It doesn't have to be very expensive outing. Something little, something small, something fine. It's okay. Sometimes you can just say, okay, you know what? Today you're not going to cook. Can we eat out? Yeah, can we go out just to have a little time? Not because of the food you want to eat outside, but because of the time you want to spend with your wife. For those men that believe that the kitchen is the exclusive reserve of the woman, I think you are getting it all wrong. Sometimes you can stay with your wife in the kitchen while she's doing the cooking. Yes, nothing is wrong with that. You can stay with her in the kitchen while she's doing the cooking. Just stay with her, watch what she's doing. You never can tell. You may get a second hobby from there, or get a second source of income from watching your wife cook. Well, you want to know if I know how to cook? Well, I won't say I don't know how to cook, but I will say I know how to boil water. That's good, right? But the bottom line is this: learning how to communicate with your spouse, involves giving yourself the much needed break from all the external activities. Learning how to communicate with your spouse involves you giving yourself a lot of break from all the external activities. So many activities, external activities that get to heat up your time as a couple. And at the end of the day, you're so tired, you've served other people, but you're not served one another. That's not good enough. All right, now let's move on. Number 2, don't let the opinion of others disturb your marriage. Don't let the opinion of other people about your spouse, about your husband, about your marriage. You are not doing it well. You are not doing this. You don't have a child. Yes. Your wife has not taken it. No. Don't let the opinion of people disturb your marriage. You see, a lot of the times, couples allow external persons or external influences to disturb their marriages. And it is not appropriate. It's not okay. It's not at all. It's a common thing, for family members, extended family members, for friends, for relatives, for colleagues in the place of work or in the place of business. They want to put, say one or two things about your marriage. Maybe you just got married and after 3, 4, 5 months, your wife has not taken in and not become pregnant, and everybody is beginning to talk what is happening. It's not their business. It's their business. I repeat, it's not their business. So you need to make them understand that your marriage is your marriage. It's not our marriage. It's not a community marriage. You see, the Bible was very specific when it said that therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife. Okay, the cleaving is not between the man and the community of the woman. Neither is the cleaving between the woman and the community of the man. It's not a village thing. It's an individual thing. So the individual man cleaves to the individual woman, and then the two of them become husband and wife. So you needed to learn how to put all these online in-laws, media in-laws, where they belong. Everybody wants to put mouth in your marriage. Everybody has a comment to make. Everybody has an opinion to share about the way you are living your house or the way you are running your home. I don't think that is appropriate. All right. So whether it's about having children, or the demands of your job, or the expectations that they have of you, don't let the opinion of relations or relatives become the point of dissatisfaction in your marriage. Don't let their opinion become your reality in your marriage. You must be able to separate their opinion from the reality in your home. Face them as a team. You and your husband, you and your wife, face them as a team and let them understand that, look, this is your home. I'm not saying that you will not take advice from people. I'm not saying that you should not go for counseling, but I'm simply saying that the opinion of people outside shouldn't be the reality in your home. You have the right to determine the way your marriage should go. You have the right to determine the way your marriage should go. Sit down with your partner. Sit down with your spouse. All right? Have a lot of conversation. It's all conversation. It's all communication. It's all communication. If you watch my previous videos, you will see that emphasis is so much on this issue of communication, because that's one of the things I've come to realize is missing totally in marriages. And the moment couples stop communicating at different levels, the moment couples don't understand the communication pattern, the communication code, and the communication timing of their partner or of their spouse, it becomes a big issue. So sit down with your partner, sit down with your spouse, and talk about your marriage. Don't live or fashion or model your marriage after the opinion of people outside. I tell you, it will backfire. All right. Number 3, indulge in small talks. Small talks, small talks, small talks. Yep, small talks. This may sound very unimportant. I know. It may sound very, very unimportant to you, but I tell you, it works. Works a lot. Spend time with your wife, small talks. You go to an occasion, not a church because it will distract people. Yep. You go to, maybe to a wedding, to naming ceremony, housewarming, or whatever it is, or you are together, outside. Indulge in small talks. You are driving together in the car, indulge in small talks. It shouldn't be that the man is driving, the wife is on the phone, or the man is on the phone and the wife is the one driving, and then you are just staying there together like strangers and everybody just facing front like that. No. That's not good enough. That's not good enough at all. Okay? Every moment you have to spend with your spouse or with your partner is an opportunity for you to talk. I don't think there should be any limit as to what you should talk about. There shouldn't be any limit. You're not talking about your boyfriend or your girlfriend. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your husband or your wife. Every time you are together, it should be an opportunity for you to talk about everything and talk about anything. No holding back. Talk about everything and talk about everything. You know what? When you do this, it helps you to understand one another better, because the more you communicate, the more you talk, the more you relate, the more you discuss issues, matters, topics, concepts, a lot of things, you get to understand your partner better. So that deep understanding is very important, and it cannot be achieved where there is no free flow of communication. No, where there is no free flow of communication, you can't understand your partner at all. Okay, so when you go out, don't just treat your wife like a stranger. She's there and you are here and you're just uptight because everybody's watching you. No, it's your wife, it's your husband. Talk with the person, engage the person in small talks and whisper and laugh and enjoy yourself. Yes, that's the way I do it, and you can do the same thing too. All right, so that's number 3, right? So number 4, apologize. Learn to apologize. Yes, learn to apologize. You see, it's very difficult for people to say, I am sorry. And some people feel or think that when you tell somebody, oh, I am sorry, it makes you weak. No, it doesn't make you weak. As a matter of fact, you are the strong person. It takes a lot of strength for you to acknowledge that what you did was wrong and then to apologize. And by extension, let me say this. You need to also learn to apologize even when you are not wrong. You need to learn to apologize even when you think you are not wrong. But because there must be peace in the home, because there must be tranquility in the home, because the communication flow in the home should not be breached, there must be peace in the home. So sometimes you must learn to apologize even when you think that you are not wrong. Learn to apologize. That's number 4. Number 5, understand what makes your partner tick. Understand what makes your partner tick. This is very, very important. Number 5 is you need to understand what makes your partner tick. What do I mean? You need to understand the love language of your partner. You see, both of you grew up in different community, different environments rather, not community, but different environments, different level of education, different level of exposure and learning and the rest of that. So definitely your love language will be different from that of your partner. Now, while some people have obvious love language, you stay a little time with them, you can easily discern what their love language is. For some other people, it's more subtle, so you can't just get it on the surface. You need to dig deep, like you're trying to explore bold. So you need to dig deeper for you to know what their love language is. Why do you need to understand the love language of your partner? It makes the person feel loved. It makes the person feel loved. You are communicating with the individual, you're communicating with your partner or with your spouse at the level where the person understands or knows that you know the way he or she feels and you know the way he or she wants to be treated. Okay? You're not assuming that you know the person's love language. You actually know the person's love language and you're communicating with the person in that same language. It's like I'm speaking English now and then somebody comes here, you want to communicate with me and you're speaking Japanese. There is no way the communication will flow because what you are saying and what I'm saying may be the same thing, but we are speaking different languages. So it will be difficult for us to communicate smoothly. Does it make any sense to you? Of course, it should. So it's important you understand what makes your partner tick, what makes the person, what's the person's love language, so that you're able to communicate with the person at that level, and then there won't be friction or there won't be clashes. Okay? This also allows you to do things that makes your partner happy. It allows you to do things because it's like you're touching them at the right spot where they want to be touched or where the person wants to be touched, where he or she wants to be touched. I think that's better. Okay, so it also opens up space for you to talk about your needs. So when you understand the person's love language, your partner's love language, it opens up, avenues for you to talk because now you are speaking the person's language. The person understands what you are saying, so the talk will be smooth. After all, a good relationship is where both partners feel loved equally. You cannot say your relationship is good when the love level is like this. One person is up, the other person is down. I was listening to a speaker, and then he said that many relationships are actually surviving on emotional leftovers. Many relationships are surviving right now on emotional leftovers. Why is this so? Because the love language of the partner is not understood, it's not known by the other person. And so when you think that you're communicating, you're actually not communicating. And when you think that you're communicating and your partner should understand what you are saying, the person doesn't understand what you are saying. The interpretation that your spouse is giving to what you are saying, they're two different things entirely. So there's always a problem. All right. Number 6, remember that you are both a team. You see, I've always said that marriage is not a competition. No, you're not in a marriage to compete with your spouse. Please, this is very important. You're not in a marriage to compete with your spouse. You're in a marriage to complement your spouse, to bring out the best in the other person, all right? To help improve or to help make the other person a better version. That is what marriage is about. But in a situation where both of you are relating like you are enemies, you are fighting, and then you are competing, who is best, who is better, who is... No. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. You are a team. You are a team. You are working together. And when you work as a team, you achieve much more. That is why the scripture said that 1 will chase 1,000, but 2 will chase 10,000. If you look at it, that is the power of geometric progression. 1 can only chase 1,000, but 2 will put 10,000 to flight. That is awesome. That's massive impact. Okay, massive impact. So when you are alone, what you can achieve cannot be compared to when you are working as a team with your spouse or with your partner. 2 is better than 1. So you need to understand this concept of team. You need to understand this concept of working in unity with your partner at every point in time. Sometimes it is very easy for you to forget that you are in partnership with your spouse. Yes, it's very easy to forget sometimes, particularly when ego comes in, and the pride comes in and the rest of that. But It's important for you to walk in that consciousness that I'm relating with my partner, I'm relating with my husband, I'm relating with my wife. And with that consciousness, you walk with the person, you carry the person along. You don't take decisions alone. Decisions, particularly decisions that affect the home. You don't just take decisions alone. You don't just step out of the house. Nobody knows where you're going to. You just decide to buy this and buy that, or do this and do that without carrying your partner along. We have had cases, so many cases of, the husband building a property somewhere or acquiring a property somewhere. The wife is not aware, and then the man passes on and the family suffers because they're not aware that the man has anything outside. We've had cases of women, acquiring properties outside and the man is not aware. And suddenly the man comes to know about it and he becomes angry because the woman never told him anything. So you can avoid all of these things where you understand that both of you are a team and you're working together. Okay. Number 7, as a couple, you need to allow your partner to also talk about himself or talk about herself. You need to allow your partner to also talk about himself or herself. It's not every time when you're having a conversation, you are the one that is always dominating the conversation. No, it shouldn't be so. You talk, yes, allow your partner to also talk. I believe that your partner also has something to say. I believe that your partner also has something to contribute. I believe that your partner also has a story, an information, a feeling or something he or she wants to share. But in a situation where you are the one that dominates the conversation, it can be the man, it can be the woman, either way. But you're the one that dominates the conversation. You don't give the other person the opportunity to express himself or to express herself. It's not a good one. It will affect your relationship or it will affect your home. So your conversation should not always be about yourself, me, myself, and I. My day, myself, me. No, it's not about you. It's about us. It's about us. It's about us. You see, when you have this consciousness, it's very easy for you to always fight for the interest or to seek to protect the interests of your partner, even when your partner is not there. Even when your partner is not there, it's very easy. I came across this story of the woman on X, formerly known as Twitter, that somebody said people were actually making fun of her because she says she wakes up at 4:50 a.m. to make breakfast for her husband, and a lot of persons were actually making fun of her. But then some other persons came up and said, "But what is wrong with you guys? Is it a crime for a married woman, to wake up early in the morning to make food for her husband and the rest?" And before you know what's happening, there was a twist. Okay. Now, what got me interested, apart from the fact that people were contributing money and donating money to her and buying her gifts and the rest of that, was that a phone company wanted to send her their phone, the latest version of their phone. And she replied and said, "I hope you are sending 2, because you can't send to only me. You need to send to myself and my husband." So she has that consciousness of not me. She has a consciousness of me and my husband. So it is very important that you have that consciousness, you carry that consciousness of we, of us, of my husband and I, or my wife and I, because you are a team and you need to walk in that consciousness. All right. Number 8. This may sound very not necessary, but it is. And what is that? Don't raise your voice. When you are talking with your partner, you don't need to shout. Even when you are offended or you're not pleased with what your spouse has done, there's no point shouting. You see, when you shout, psychologically, we've been told that it gives the impression that the person you are talking to, even though he or she is close by, but the person is actually far from you. That's why you need to shout. All right? The person is close by physically, but in the mind, the person is far from you. There's a lot of gap. There's a huge distance between the two of you. So you need to shout for the person to hear you. And that shouldn't be. It's not until you raise your voice so high that your partner would hear or understand or appreciate what you are saying, or get to understand that, okay, you don't want this thing, so I should stop, or whatever it is. You can talk in a normal way and your partner will still understand what you are saying and then still give the appropriate response to whatever it is that you are saying. So there's really no point for you to shout. Okay, it's not an effective way of communicating with your partner. Not at all. I see people in the public buses, I see them in offices, I see them even in churches and in places of worship, shouting at their spouse, or shouting at their partner because you want to get the person's attention, or because you want to say something, or you want to shout the person down so that you can be the one talking and the rest of that. It's really not necessary. It's not important. It's not a good way of communicating. All right. And number 9 is learn to listen to your spouse. Learn to listen to your spouse. This is very, very important. Learn to listen. The most important tip on communicating effectively with your partner is to learn to listen more carefully. To learn to listen more carefully. You must learn to listen to your spouse. When the person is talking, pay attention, try to understand what the person is saying. Somebody once said to me, when I was still learning how to listen, somebody once said to me that we can sing together, 2 of us can sing together at the same time, or 2 of us cannot talk together at the same time, all right, except we are mad, or except we've gone insane. So while one person is talking, the other person should pay attention, should listen. And when you are done, can I talk? Are you done? Can I say something? Or you take excuse, can I say something? I've also come to discover or to realize that most times when somebody is saying something, and as soon as the person is done talking, you jump in and you respond immediately. It's a sign that you were not listening to what the person was saying. All right. It's a sign that you were not listening to what the person was saying. That was why you're just waiting for the person to finish, and then you want to jump in, you want to give your response, you want to make your contribution, and the rest of that. No, it's really not necessary. So you must learn to listen. It takes wisdom. Yes, it takes a lot of wisdom for you to listen when others are talking. All right. Healthy communication is very essential in any relationship, including marital relationship. So if you don't have healthy communication, then you can't say that your relationship is what it should be. So whether you are just married 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, all of the tips that I've shared, I'm sure they apply to you. If only you take your time to listen to the video, watch the video once again, and then maybe make notes. If you have questions, feel free to ask me any questions whatsoever, and I'll be very much available and willing and glad to answer your questions. So if you are wondering how to communicate with your spouse, then go over these tips once again, the 9 tips on how to safeguard your marriage. Go back to my video on how to heal your marital wounds without going through a divorce. Go back to my video on don't do this in your marriage, except I gave 2 tips on the things you shouldn't do in your marriage. I'm sure by the time you watch these 3 videos, you would have gained 1 or 2 information that would help you in your communication pattern or style with your spouse. Wow, it's been a wonderful time having this conversation with you. Don't forget, you can drop your questions, your observations, or any comments whatsoever that you want to make. I'm available to look at them, and then the conversation can always continue thereafter. My name is Michael Oyagha. I will appreciate it if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel. Please do, and don't forget to press the notification button. Thank you very much. Till we see you again next time. Stay blessed.